Homeless Mobile Adventures continue. Got the crew. Woo! Gabriel the Great, Gavin the Great in the background, just cruising. So, where are we at? What are we doing? Just wanted to update you with what's happening. It's an amazing, divine adventure. And so, currently, we're headed back south. We've been in Nashville area for the last week. Just an incredible week of incredible people, experiences. So one of the thoughts I've been having recently is just about people, places, and purpose. And the unique God-given purpose and dreams in your heart for your life will not happen apart from the right people. The right relationships, the right connections in the right way and alignment cannot happen. And we're just seeing the expansion and multiplication of the visions in our heart happen because of God's orchestration and our part walking it out through relationships with amazing people that are synergistically aligned with our unique life dreams and assignments and purposes in this beautiful collaborative way. And so, we're just like, okay, God, where do you want us planting our roots in our next home since we're on this homeless mobile adventure? This has been our home, living out of the SUV, staying in hotels with family along the way and wherever for however long. We've just let go of, we've been in Sarasota area for the last 9 years, which has been our promised land, beyond our dreams. We're at the beach multiple times a week, the tropical environment outside year-round every day, riding bikes, the sunshine, the Garden of Eden lifestyle, just the millions of mangoes in our neighborhood, et cetera, right? So for us, we let go of that and was like, okay, God, if you're leading us somewhere else, then just show us and we'll go wherever. So we were looking at homes a few days ago to potentially purchase and move into in the Franklin, Tennessee area. And just the more we look, the more we're praying about it, we really feel like God is, that our home base is going to remain in Sarasota. But we don't know yet. We're walking it out. Katie Marie found an amazing property that we were planning on leaving Nashville and going back up to northern Michigan for a few weeks. That was our plan. And we made a pivot. We're headed south to Florida right now to look at this property that we're so excited about, and we'll keep you updated and let you know what happens with that. If it is the one, or if not, then we're still continuing on this adventure until we find out what God has. But so yeah, and then being flexible, that's the other thing, being open and flexible and fluid. I think so many times it's easy to box ourselves into like a regimented routine, which is a rut sometimes, when God is inviting you into a unique, unprecedented promised land that's beyond your dreams and desires. Always, that's his heart, to do exceedingly abundantly above anything you can ever ask, think, hope, or imagine in every area of your life, in every way. We've seen him and experienced him do that in our lives and for many years in many ways. And so that's why we're so excited and expectant for whatever this next chapter of the Hughes household family home is going to be, where it's going to be, what it is, for who, because he knows best. And we don't want to settle. We're not going to settle for something different than what God is leading and handpicking for us. So it does take patient perseverance. It takes faith. It takes courage. It takes flexibility. And anytime you or me or any of us are not willing, if we're unwilling to move forward in faith or have flexibility, and we want to drive, we want to control and drive and steer, then God's like, okay, you can have that limited land of limitations, that life of limitations, far less than what God has in store and planned. So babe, what's on your heart in these adventures? What's going on, huh?
Well, it was absolutely incredible when God put on our hearts to sell our home. And I had always told David, when we sell this home, it's gonna have to be like, God's gonna have to move us into a home that is so much more incredible than this home. And like, I always said that. And the wild thing is, God then had us list our home with no home in sight for us. And then in that process, I felt like he spoke to me in a very firm, father's loving but firm tone. He reminded me of what I had said for years, you know, it's going to have to be just a more incredible home. Not that it would be a bigger home or a more expensive home, but that it would just be incredible in a different way. And he reminded me that I had said that, and then I felt him impress on my heart saying, actually, I didn't need to give you a more incredible home for you to move. All I had to do was to put my finger on your home and say, it's time for you to let it go, and you would do it. And so it just really hit my heart that, like, we don't have to have a next plan in place. God doesn't have to do what we think he needs to do in order for us to move. He just needs to say, move, and we need to do it. It's about obedience, because he says obedience is better than sacrifice. And so often, you know, in this first world country, in this very cushy life that really we all have in America, it's just easy for us to stay comfortable. But God is not interested in our comfort. He's not interested in our comfort zones. He's not interested in a cushy lifestyle. He's interested in obedience, and radical obedience and immediate obedience. So I want to encourage and challenge you today. If God is putting his finger on an area of your life, he's highlighting it to you, and he's asking you to do something, it may be completely out of your comfort zone. It may make you very uncomfortable. It may upset you. But if he's asking you to do something, you need to be obedient, because even delayed obedience is disobedience. And it's a difficult word to share with you, and it's even difficult to walk it out, but it's way more difficult when we delay or we just completely don't do what God has called us to do, and then we wonder why he's not moving in our lives, why we're not hearing him, why we're not feeling him, why we're not getting answers that we're seeking. And it's like, you know, I believe that he's there with us always, and he's saying, you haven't even done the last thing I asked you to do. I'm not going to do this thing over here for you until you obey me. And those of you parents with children, you know exactly what that feels like when a child is literally, you've asked them to do something and they're over here doing their own thing, like ignoring you. And then they're asking you for something and you're like, do you remember I asked you to do this thing over here? Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So don't live in delayed obedience when it's convenient for you, when you finally made the plan make sense in your brain. Just do the thing. Do the thing that God's asking you to do. It may be super small, or it may be huge. It may be making a phone call, or it may be moving your family across the world and selling everything that you thought mattered, because the real thing that matters is the tangible presence of God, the intimacy that you have with him, that relationship that you have with your Creator, that no one can satisfy that place of your heart. He's just that good. So, had a blast sharing with you today. We'll continue to update. It's amazing because, like David said, Florida is our promised land. It's been my promised land all throughout my life, and he's allowed me to live in Florida at different times, but then he'd call me right back out. And so when we came down 9 years ago, it really felt like this was it. And when, you know, God told us to sell our house and told us to go on a road trip, I told David, I had such a sadness in my heart, but I will never want something more than I want him. So I completely let it go. And as we left Florida, the way I felt in my heart, I was like 60% sure that we were not going to be living in Florida next. And so this wild turn of events and this discernment that we've been feeling and this guidance has been precious for the Lord to re-highlight Florida. It was always highlighted, but to say, you know, let's go back down and see what he has for us. So you're on the journey with us. Let's do this. It's about radical obedience. Go and do the thing. Yow!